Hey, man, is it football season yet?
You know, an old person told me that you should not waste or wish time away. I the month of August can just go to hell. Can we just get
Yeah,
to September, please, man? Like
just
seriously.
hurry it up.
I'm
I
I'm
mean,
tired of it being 100 degrees every day. I'm
yeah,
tired of humidity. I'm tired of arguing about summer league basketball. I just dude,
I'm tired of the Kevin Durant trade rumors. Just pick a team, dude.
just pick a team to go
Just
so we
hurry
can
up and pick a
fight.
damn team, man.
I, I'm tired of talking about Miles Bridges, but not talking about Miles Bridges. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah, I'm sick of it. But hey, we got a job to do here under construction. So here we are with another episode of Under Construction. I'm Kaiser Sose. That's Jamal, the angry black fan.
What's up, Charlotte? What's up, y'all?
Yeah, extra angry this week. But we're gonna talk about like the off season slowing down. Hey, I can't be mad as a Charlotte sports fan. This is probably the craziest off season
Ever.
I mean, when you look at the Hornets and the Panthers off seasons combined, there's never been anything like this where the Hornets and the Panthers have been so newsworthy, for better or for worse. Not all of it has been good. In the Hornets case, they're newsworthy because of negative press. In the Panthers case, it's because they got Baker Mayfield and David Tepper is coming apart at the seams. So, hey, there's no such thing as negative publicity, right?
Right.
That's what they say.
Oh man.
All right, so let's get Summer League out of the way. So Summer League's over. The Minnesota Timberwolves.
This is what you're talking about during the doldrums of summer. This is where we're at, people. So bear with us, man. But what you got?
Didn't the Timberwolves win the Summer League championship?
I got another question. Didn't Michael Kidd Gilchrist look like the MVP of Summer League back in 2011 to 12, whatever that was?
Lonzo Ball was a Summer League MVP, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Remember some guy named Josh Selby? You remember that name?
Nope. Sure don't.
No, exactly. He was the MVP of Summer League a few years ago.
Yep. Just, I guess the point we're trying to make is that Summer League doesn't matter. I'm not okay. So I'll give the preseason a little bit of pass. I've heard coaches in the NFL say this. I think John Fox used to say this. Preseason doesn't count, but it matters.
But it does matter, right?
I'll buy that because that's a lot of times that's how you determine the depth of your team is in preseason. Right. This isn't preseason. This is Summer League, and Summer League is essentially open run with NBA
kids.
Yeah,
kids.
Yeah. One of the things that gets me is like the Summer League threads in the Charlotte Hornets Facebook group. People are like, why are we not running plays? It's summer. Nobody runs plays in Summer League. Why would you run plays in Summer League?
My counter question to that is, when do you have time to install plays during the Summer League?
So you want to let other teams in the NBA know what your scheme is in July? That's what you want to do. You want to just.
I'm gonna tell you what Summer League is for. Look, I'm gonna be objective here, and this is what Summer League is for. Summer League is for more talent evaluation, I would say, and talent evaluation on a much lower level than you think. Like, you kind of want to see what some of these young players' strengths are and what their weaknesses are. And a lot of these times, wins and losses don't matter at all in the Summer League. Let's be very, very clear about that. Because, in the Summer League, man, you're barely in a professional setting. Let me repeat that. These are barely professionals in the Summer League, man. So it's more so just evaluating, what do I have with these young players? What can they give me? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses are? Does Kai Jones need to take 10 threes a game, or is he better on a pick and roll? Those are the
that was disappointing from Kai Jones. I'll say this, and you're gonna say, well, you guys just said Summer League doesn't matter. No, but I'm going to
piggyback off of what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Right, yeah, I feel like if you're Kai Jones, who, by the way, in the G League was outright dominant at times last season. Sometimes that's how you tell when a player has taken that step. They're just too good for G League. They still might not be good enough to be like elite caliber in the NBA, but they're too good for G League. We saw this with Dwayne Bacon a few years ago. Remember, he used to go to the G League and score like 35 points.
Right.
Kai Jones was on that trajectory. And then Summer League, he comes in, and he's just not that good. He just wasn't that good in Summer League, mainly because he didn't play to the strengths of his game. And that was very disappointing to see. Dude, why are you jacking up 10 threes a game? Why are you doing this?
Kaza, let me share a concern with you that kind of led up to Kai Jones in Summer League. So there were, I guess, workout videos posted, online, which I never, ever really get hype about. You know what I mean? Like they're just workout videos.
Right.
But let me explain something to you, man. Kai Jones, who was what, 6'10", 6'11", whatever, something like that. All these workout videos that I saw from Kai Jones, it showed him, trying to display guard skills. You know what I mean? It was a lot of one-on-one dribbling, a lot of off the dribble stuff, a lot of pull-up jumpers, a lot of three-pointers. Okay, you look at that, and you might say to yourself, "Oh my God, a 6'10" guy is doing all this." On the surface, it may look, good to you. Now, how that translates to the Summer League. Kai Jones goes to the Summer League. The first, I guess, 2 games, he goes 1 for 11 or something like that, or 1 for 50, whatever, 2 for 20, whatever the hell it was.
Right.
So he's obviously not playing to a strength. Now, to be fair, if you are going to do something like that,
do it in Summer League.
In the Summer League, okay? Right. All right? But, here is the concern. Here's the concern. We have alluded ad nauseum about how about some of the maturity issues on this team, about with a lot of players on this team. Here's what my concern about for Kai Jones is. Is Kai Jones learning how to be a professional? Because a part of learning how to be a professional is to perfect what you're good at, not trying to play outside of yourself. Mm-hmm. And I saw a lot of Kai Jones playing outside of what he may not be good at. He may want guard skills, but that's not his game. And I noticed when he started playing his game more, when he started being the pick and roll guy, when he started taking it to the basket, it worked out a lot better. Not for him, but for the team.
I expected to see high flying, flying around the rim, being hustled, like everything we were seeing in G League last season. Right. We didn't see that in Summer League. And it could be. Maybe he thought, look, I've been working on my 3-ball in the offseason. Summer League's here. Now's the time for me to test it.
Right.
And hey, it just didn't work out. Because if you can't shoot well in Summer League, you're not going to shoot well when the season starts, right? So I guess I'll give him some pass, but I felt like Kai should have said, hey, this is a chance for me to showcase. But Summer League doesn't matter, right? So should it matter that Nick Richards averaged 10 rebounds a game against Summer League comp? Is that a good thing?
It's not a bad thing, but at the same time, I'm not going to do any backflips over it.
Well, Mark Williams averaged 7.5 boards a game with far less minutes than Nick Richards got.
I'll say this. You bring up a very good little debate and a good point, because you know what's coming when the regular season comes. Oh my God, I cannot. I can wait for the Mark Williams, Nick Richards, who should get playing time debate, because God's gonna, it's coming, man. Now
he's gonna be the new Plum Lee. Watch.
Which is ironic, because you had so many fans who were like, why doesn't Nick Richards?
People were crying for Nick Richards to get playing time. He's going to get it next season, and then people are going to be crying because he's taking Mark Williams' minutes.
I have a headache already, man. But to answer your question, here's something that I will count for Mark. I will say that I'm impressed with Mark Williams. When you're a rookie in any setting, I don't even care if it is Summer League, man. Like the first couple of games, Mark Williams didn't look comfortable, which is okay. I mean, we're talking about his first NBA action, period, at all. You know what I mean? And I noticed as time went on, he started looking more comfortable out there. I like the way he protected the paint, and which is what we all are craving from him, right? Even when he wasn't blocking a bunch of shots, he had a lot of those players second guessing whether they wanted to come in the lane or not. Now, I don't care what setting you're in. I mean, you want to see that from the center in any setting. I don't care if it is
Right,
second.
yeah.
So that part I am pretty damn impressed with, man. So that is a pretty, I guess, it's a really good sign to see from Mark Williams. And I think we also may be seeing a good problem as far as competition between him and Plumlee and Williams and whoever else is going to be in play to be center for the Charlotte Hornets. We don't know yet. So I think it is going to create a good problem there. And I do like what I saw from Mark Williams, man, even in a limited amount of time.
No, yeah, I agree. I felt like he played fairly well for summer league, which is a very unorganized system. And I feel like when the season starts, when we start implementing a defensive and offensive scheme, he may actually be more comfortable. I think he'll perform better. Nick Richards also averaged 14.5 points. He had a really good summer league, but the thing is like, this is his third season. I expect him to have a good summer league. Absolutely. Like, okay, so you had a good summer league in your third season. Okay, big deal, honestly.
Now go do that against the big boys.
Go do that in a game, right? And we'll see. With Steve Clifford, obviously Nick Richards was not a Borrego guy, but I think that he didn't. Nick Richards' problem has always been to me like a hustle thing. This may not be a something he's consciously or even unconsciously doing, but didn't it always seem like his feet were stuck in the mud? Like he just wasn't like, hey, bro, you got like get up the court, dude. Like it was like sometimes he'd be like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing here? Like, okay, this is your third season. That should be gone. So.
Well, look, man, we are talking about someone who didn't start playing organized basketball until he was 16 or something like that, and maybe that matters. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
And we also have to be fair. It's not like he got a whole bunch of time on the floor last season, which also may matter as well. So we are talking about a second round pick who doesn't have the, he's 24 years old, but at the same time, he still doesn't really have the normal experience that a lot of other players have, man. So on one hand, you would say, well, he should be further along than what he is. But on the other hand, I make a counter argument and say, does he really have the experience he needs yet? Even in his third season, I still say maybe he needs more time on the floor to kind of correct those issues.
Well, you know what they say? You can't teach size. Like he's got all the physical tools to be a solid center in the NBA. Yeah,
and look, as our main man Jerry V says, he gives you wow moments. He shows you flashes sometimes.
So but I think maybe his ceiling is back up. Okay, Swagner, man, you had it. I was just about to bring up Bryce McGowan's. Okay, Bryce McGowan's averaged 14.5 and 2 assists over the course of the summer league. I thought he played pretty well I was like kind of surprised, How do we feel about him? Is he gonna make active roster?
Let me tell you something. He better. He damn sure better. And let me tell you something. When Mitch Kupchak trades up to get you, it is a damn good sign. If Mitch Kupchak is trading up to get you in the second round, he probably really likes you. And I got called crazy when I said he's going to challenge James Bouknight when it comes to roster position and playing time or whatever the case may be coming up in the regular season. We're seeing why right now. And not to get completely off subject, but it really sucks even more that we didn't get to see Bouknight and McGowan's on the same team in the summer league, man. So I'm very impressed by what I saw.
Yeah, McGowan, first of all, he's a big guard. He's about 6'7". I would have liked that. Yeah, I would have liked to see better assists. Maybe not numbers necessarily, because it's summer league. You're not going to get those kind of numbers, honestly. But there were times in the game, and it's summer league, and a lot of times summer league is like, okay, I'm going to get mine. And there were times where I could tell Bryce McGowan's like, okay, I'm going to get mine. Right. And I don't like to see that in a player in that situation, unless you're like LaMelo. LaMelo Ball can always say, "Okay, I'm gonna get mine" because he's LaMelo Ball. But I don't want to see that from Bryce McGowan's or Jalen McDaniels or any JT Thor. I don't want to see that from those guys.
But you know what? To be fair, and I don't know if this is a big deal or not. I don't even know if it's by design or not. But the Hornets' unwillingness to get a damn point guard for summer league, I don't know what it is about the Hornets and them not getting a real point guard on any summer league team. I think that matters because you literally have a bunch of two guards playing point guard position. Whoever Crutcher's not a point guard. McGowan's is not a natural point guard. So you're going to have a bunch of guys that say,
I don't know. I got a feeling that because we did see McGowan's play a lot of point guard during summer league, and I got a feeling that the Hornets may be saying, can we develop him into a point guard? No. Because here's the thing. As much as we want them to either sign Kimbo or bring back IT, I don't think the Hornets are going to do either of those. I think if they had a choice, they would not. Because money-wise, of course, they don't want to do that. And both IT and Kemba are considered on the downslope of their career. It'd be a 1 or 2 year rental at best for both of those guys. Why not have a guy you can develop and have as like your Patty Mills kind of guy? Like your guy you bring in, he plays point, he does pretty well, and then he eventually ascends to a starter role, midway through his career. Vince, here go Vince. Vince not gonna let nobody live. No time for developing players. Got to make the postseason. That's why JV is gone.
Damn right.
That's what Vince said. That's what Vince said. So, man, I really like Mike McGowan. Though I thought he had a pretty good summer league, and I'd like to see him make the active roster.
All right, real quick, Kaiser. Two things I want to mention real quick before you go, man. Vince, I want to ask you this question in particular, buddy. Are you still on the 50-win train, being that Miles Bridges probably won't play very much, if at all, next season? That's my first question. And my comment to what you just said, Kaiser, is I feel what you're saying, but to me, it's just not a good movement because you're wanting to develop players out of their natural element. It's just like Kai Jones wanting to develop guard skills. You either have it or you don't. And I just don't think McGowan's or Bouknight are natural point guards.
Yeah, I feel like the NBA is not the time, and I'm trying to figure out a time where I've seen a player develop outside of their natural skill set. Right. Now, we've seen players take someone like Draymond Green. Draymond Green is essentially the point guard for the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry plays the point guard position, but that's because Draymond has those kind of skills already. They do not develop those skills. And I'm trying to think of the last time a player came in and the coach said, why don't you be this instead? And it's worked out. We remember Frank Kaminsky. Hornets fans will always debate about whether or not Frank Kaminsky was the right pick, but I will say it was the wrong thing to select him and then make him a stretch 4 when he had never done that in college. College is the time for players, to try and move into different roles and get new skill sets. The NBA, it's too late. You are what you are for the most part, from a skill set perspective once you reach the NBA.
Look, one more quick thing. With that being said, man, I mean, to me, it's not a bad idea to go use that and go get a younger point guard. If you don't want IT or Kimber as a rental, I mean, go. There's plenty of point guards 25 and under that you can still develop. So
I don't know. I'm a big fan of having your veteran backup point guard.
I am too. I prefer that.
I do. I really do. I think it works well. And you got IT, Kimbo, Rajon Rondo. You got a lot of guys out there that can come, especially when you got a guy like LaMelo.
Well, one thing about Rondo has some. He got some.
Yeah, no, he might not be the right one around Melo, but there is I have a concern about LaMelo Ball, and it is because now there's a lack of leadership, player leadership. Now I felt like IT when in the short time he was here really said, hey, you know what, LaMelo Ball, I'm gonna try and impart some knowledge onto him, as a veteran point guard. Now he's probably gone next season. And who is there? I don't think Gordon Hayward is that guy. He's tried in the past, but I think because he doesn't play a lot, I don't think the players really respect him all that much.
But
Who else is there?
I'll say this, and now this is going to sound interesting coming from who it came from, but Miles Bridges was quoted as saying that Gordon Hayward did teach him a lot about being a pro. So maybe Gordon Hayward is not that guy that's going to yell at you and be all hyping in your face. Maybe he's more so of a silent type of leader. But at the same token, I think you still need that other strong personality in the locker room that will get at guys. You know what I mean? That is the B personality type to Gordon Hayward's A personality type.
Chris, my guy. Ty Jones was a center in college for Texas. He was rated as the number 2 center in the draft. Now, whether or not you think he should be a center in the NBA is another thing. He doesn't have the size, but he did play center in college. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I perform that for personally, but
real quick, how do you feel about JT Thor? I thought he had a great summer league as well.
I do.
He hit the game-winning shot. By the way, that's the dumbest rule ever.
It is pretty dumb.
That's the dumbest rule ever.
It's a summer league rule. It fits perfectly.
Sudden death in basketball.
It's a summer league rule.
Get the hell out of here.
No, but I was impressed by JT Thor, and I think the one thing you want to look at with JT Thor, the biggest improvement he can make is the jump shot, and he looked like he improved a bit in that aspect. So yeah, I was pretty impressed by him.
Okay, real quick, let's do this together. Okay, active roster. What we think will. I know this is before the preseason. A lot will change, especially once preseason comes.
Right.
Active roster. Let's assume Miles Bridges does not play.
Okay.
Let's assume that regardless of the outcome of his case, he gets a suspension from the league. Okay, which will probably happen regardless of the outcome of the case.
Yeah.
So who starts at power forward?
I'll take. Can I give you my starting lineup?
Go ahead, give me a starting lineup.
Hey, look. Half Hornets fans are going to hate me, and they're probably going to log out. But it's going to look almost exactly the same. It's going to be Mason Plumlee, P.J. Washington, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, LaMelo Ball. That will be your starting lineup in the very first regular season game. I will bet money on that.
I'm going to throw you a curveball. I agree with that starting lineup, except I think Nick Richards starts.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. I really think that. Okay, this is Steve Clifford, and look at what there are a lot of reasons why James Borrego liked Mason Plumlee, because Mason Plumlee could actually, for what y'all, I know we all hated him, but he could do a lot of different things. He could pass the ball well. He could actually bring the rock up the court. I didn't like doing that.
He ran the floor very well.
He ran the floor. He did all this. Steve Clifford don't care about none of that.
Steve
Clifford wants his centers to rebound, play defense, and hang your ass around the basket. That's it. He don't want you to do nothing else. Nick Richards does that. I think he likes that more than Mason Plumlee. Plus, Mason Plumlee will be a year older. I think that, I don't know, I just got this feeling Nick Richards might be the guy when the season starts.
Good point. I'll take that. Good point.
Yeah, I don't know. Clifford loves his vets, but I mean, Nick Richards he's not a kid anymore. This is his third season in the league. I mean, he's damn near a vet, you know? I really think that Nick Richards might be that guy, and then we'll see them try and get some Mark Williams in there as well. So, all right, so that's our starting five. So, who's your sixth man?
Sixth man still Kelly. I still got Kelly.
Kelly Oubre. Backup point. Or we won't say backup point because I don't even know if the Hornets are going to have a backup point guard. Who's next in the rotation? Cody Martin.
Cody Martin's the next in the rotation. I agree there. Got Kelly as a sixth man. Cody next man in rotation. I got Mark Williams being the next in the rotation. He definitely should be the backup center, but we'll see how that goes. That's going to be a lot of discussion and debate with this center position. I'm telling you that right now because we still don't know what Montrezl Harrell's situation is going to be. Let me throw that in there real quick.
He's a unrestricted free agent. I'm going to assume. I'm just making an assumption that he's going to come back.
Yeah, we'll make. You know what? I'm there with you. We'll assume he won't be back on the team. I'm with you on that. But I'll go ahead and fill out the rest of this roster. Let me go ahead and do that, man. All right. So we got Kelly, we got Cody Martin, got Mark Williams being the backup center. Backup point guard position, I do want to talk about because the Hornets really do frustrate me with their unwillingness to get a damn backup point guard, a real one. So I'm gonna hope. Again, let me be clear. I'm gonna hope it is either Isaiah Thomas or Kemba Walker. I just have a feeling that it won't be. I have a feeling that they're gonna try to make James Bouknight a backup point guard and ultimately ruin that young man's. Let me stop. I'm going on a tangent. All right, so rest of the roster. I got Bryce McGowan's making this damn roster. I think he'll spend some time in the G League, but I got to make it a roster. I have Kai Jones on the active roster this year. Who else? I got Jalen McDaniels obviously on the roster, and I think I think he's going to be firmly entrenched as the backup kind of hybrid 3-4. I think Clifford's going to like him like Brago liked him. So I think McDaniels is going to really get a lot of time.
You know how I feel about that, but what you're saying is 100% true. Steve Clifford's going to like Jalen McDaniels for all the same reasons James Borrego did. I personally would like to see JT Thor get those minutes. I feel like he can do everything McDaniels could do, and he has a little bit better skill set, especially around the rim. But, both those guys are going to make the active roster.
And speaking of JT Thor, man, I think JT Thor will also be on the roster. But again, I think you may still see some G League time from him. But one thing about JT Thor, and this is just my prediction, I think JT Thor will probably really, really take off, for lack of a better term, when McDaniels leaves. Right. I think McDaniels would have to not be a Charlotte Hornet for JT Thor to finally get the playing time that he probably deserves. I'll put it like that.
That's 13 spots, ain't it?
That's 13.
That's 13. That's your roster.
Yep.
How many wins that roster get you?
Being that Miles Bridges probably won't play, man, I'm gonna go probably 38. I'll go 38-40.
Oh boy. Wait. Okay. Yeah. Now, although admittedly, it's way too early to make a prediction. Way too early.
Yes, it is. It is.
And we'll have to do like we did last year. We'll have to have Jerry V back on the show and do our official predictions. But I think this is a 43-win roster again. I don't think losing Miles will give them enough of a step back. And I'm actually gonna agree with something Scheif says here. Oh my God, take a damn screenshot. But it's gonna depend on if Gordon Hayward stays healthy. Even if he doesn't give you 18 to
Kaiser, hold on. I gotta go outside and see if some lightning struck real quick, because this may be the first time in under construction history that me, you, and Schiff have agreed on something.
I agree.
What the hell is going on here? Let me go outside and
okay. But Gordon Hayward's health is if he even if he doesn't give you, let's say he only gives you 15 points a game, that's big from Gordon Hayward. And Vince says if they say, I don't know if a healthy Hayward, if he's giving you like 20 a game, if he can make up the 20 a game you lose from Miles, then maybe.
Hey, let me say this real quick. I think 50 is a possibility, and this is a big if. I mean, a huge if. What if we get Gordon Hayward from his first season here in Charlotte that was healthy? 50 is a real possibility if we get that guy, but that's a big ass if.
I don't think we will. I hope he proves me wrong. But even when he was healthy last season, he wasn't as good as he was
the previous season.
Agreed. When he came. Vince says he thinks that Hayward will average 19 points a game. I just see. I don't. With Miles gone, I don't think the team is that much worse. But they're certainly not better than they were. And although Steve Clifford, I think, is a fine coach. I defended him a lot during his first stint here. He's not enough to make this as like suddenly a 50-win, make this roster a 50-win team. He's not. We've talked about why we think the Hornets hired him, and I do want to talk about JB in just a minute. But a question that we're seeing in the chat: is the East going to be better or weaker than they were last season? Now,
listen, there's one thing I disagree with Chris just said. Orlando and Detroit will not be much better. They'll be better.
Yeah.
I don't see much better.
Not enough to upset the current balance of the East. So here's something that bothered me about last season. This is the only time in the history of the NBA, at least in the draft era, so that since or the lottery era, so since 1983, 1984, that the Eastern Conference had 10 teams with winning records. To me, that's an anomaly. I don't see that happening again, to where you have 10 teams that all have a winning record and only two of them have to miss the playoffs. That's a huge swing, and we've seen that in the Western Conference, but not sustained like that. I do think that the balance of power has shifted. The East is now the better conference as far as teams go, although Golden State is still the team to beat. In LA, as much as I hate to admit it, they're always going to be on the radar. If Anthony Davis is healthy, you cannot count the Lakers out. So the West is very top heavy. Golden State, Phoenix, Los Angeles. Whereas I think the East is more balanced. Any of the teams in the East has a chance to make the finals. But I don't know if the East has like leapfrogged so much to where the Hornets are going to have to take a back seat. I'm just not sure if I see that. For instance, the Brooklyn Nets last season really messed things up. They really messed things up.
Because nobody expected them to be that. Sorry.
Exactly. And they're not going to be near. You can take them out of the picture. They're not. They're back of the bus now. They're gone. So that's a playoff slot in which a lot of teams are going to possibly move up. Of course, you got your Bostons, your Miamis, your Milwaukee's.
There's one thing I need to mention, and my stomach hurts when I say this. I really can't handle saying this, man. Atlanta made the most underrated move of the offseason, man. When they got DeJounte Murray, that kicked up.
I do agree that Atlanta's going to be much better. They are going to be much better this next season. But I mean, you got your teams like your Indiana's.
No, I'm not concerned about that.
They're not. I mean, I don't. But having said that, I just don't see the Hornets like being that much worse.
Right.
I just don't think they'll be that much better with Miles Bridges gone. Even if Gordon Hayward has a vintage season, I don't see it. We'll revisit this come preseason, I guess. But it's interesting. After all this happened in the Hornets offseason, this is where we are with the roster. So we still don't have a backup point guard, and the center position is still
in flux.
We should have kept Jalen Duren. We should have kept Jalen Duren.
Oh God, get ready for that next season.
Summer League champion. Okay, maybe not Summer League champion actually. Real quick. Now, I don't want you to give up your source because, of course, that would be you cannot do that.
It's unprofessional. Yeah,
it would be unprofessional to give up your source, but you have a source.
Yeah, a good one.
That source told us some things about James Borrego and the way that James Borrego has never publicly made a statement about what happened with the Charlotte Hornets. But your source said that James Borrego might have to he's going to pull up. JB going to go pull up. Yes, Vince.
Yes. Call me Jamal Broussard, buddy. So let me clean this up a bit, man. My source told me that JB is at this point still none too pleased with the way he got dismissed from the Charlotte Hornets. To the point where he will be taking at least a year break from basketball, period. Him and his family are moving back to Albuquerque. I think that's where either he's originally from or his wife's originally from. One of the two. I get that mixed up. But he'll be taking a break from basketball. He doesn't want anything to do with the NBA. He is still pretty steamy from the way he got dismissed from the Charlotte Hornets. He alluded to some of the maturity issues that we have alluded to all damn season. We talked about some of the maturity issues that he had to deal with, and it kind of was not fair that he got canned because of some of those issues on the roster. And I'll kind of clean this up a bit. He saw the Miles Bridges situation develop, and it happened, and yeah. And that's kind of all I got on that. That's kind of all I want to share about that.
I'll just say this about that. It's weird how Charlotte sports, when we let somebody go, it's always the wrong way. It's always the wrong way.
Yep.
I think about Steve Smith, Cam Newton,
yep,
D'Angelo Williams,
yep,
James Bregg, even Steve Clifford. What was the coach we had for like 2 weeks in the Bobcat era?
Paul Silas.
No, not Paul Silas.
Bobcats era. 2 weeks.
No, it was more than 2 weeks. It was like one season. Dunlap.
Oh, Mike Dunlap.
Mike Dunlap.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, no, he was coach for like a day. It's just weird. I don't know if that's a Charlotte culture thing. Like we just gonna usher you out without it. Yeah, Steve Jackson he still talks shit about Charlotte.
He still talks shit about Charlotte to this day.
Yeah. That's
that's kind of what you're getting at, cause like not only do we let these guys go, but they stay salty at us. Like,
yes.
D'Angelo Williams tweeted at us when we called him out for his saltiness. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
Yeah, that was the beginning of under construction days. Yeah.
D'Angelo Williams salty, Steven Jackson salty, Steve Smith. I mean, Steve Smith really got his revenge on us when he played for the Ravens. Blood and guts game. Anybody remember that? Yeah. Borrego.
Yeah.
So
now they made up with Steve Smith and Cam Newton, but it should have never happened that way. See, the thing is, the players and coaches do understand that it's a business. We always say it's a business. They understand that. So approach them and just say, hey, it's a business. Although I feel like in James Brego's situation, regardless of when any Hornets fans think about his ability as a coach, you sign the guy to extension, you give him mixed signals, he limps the team to a winning record in a highly competitive Eastern Conference. Yes, they didn't make the playoffs, and then you say, sorry, bro, you're out. And then they hire the guy that you hired him to replace.
And you know what the worst part about it is? The mixed signals is the worst part of it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Just for the fact that the GM comes out and basically defends you all season. You know what I mean? And then says, we changed our mind. We're sorry, bro. We got to move on. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with Shaq again. He says he'll be okay. He will be okay. He's got millions of dollars.
You know why he'll be okay? Because he got 2 more years on that damn contract.
Exactly. Yeah. He's about to take a nice vacation. He'll be fine.
And he's about to sell a big ass house on the south side.
Yeah, exactly. Like what, $2.8 million?
Yeah, something like that. So yeah,
it's selling for. Yeah, I'll buy it with this under construction money. Let's talk about the other team in Charlotte. In AFC Scout, some guy, either a scout or an executive, came out and said that he feels like Baker Mayfield is going to lead the Panthers to the playoffs. Now, last week or the week before last, I was out last week. We didn't do a show last week. I did say that I thought the Panthers were going to sneak into the 7th seed. But it wasn't going to be because of Baker Mayfield.
Because of Baker Mayfield, right.
It was going to be because
sorry.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, that healthy, if he's healthy, an improved offensive line, and an improved defense is getting J.C. Horn back. But what are your thoughts on that? See, I hate and we talked about this very thing. If the Panthers make the playoffs, the media narrative is going to be all they needed was Baker Mayfield.
All they needed was Baker Mayfield. See, we told you guys.
Because nobody. It's funny how nobody gives a damn about the Panthers any other time except for now. Everyone's an expert on the Panthers. Like they watched the game last. Like ESPN has the Carolina Panthers Last in the league in their power rankings, dead last. Okay. And like no end in sight as to how terrible they're going to be, but they failed to see the improvements on defense that were being made slowly throughout the season. You know, we lost JC Horn, Christian McCaffrey did not play, and the offensive line sucked. And yes, they're not perfect in those areas, but they've shored up. There have been slight on paper improvements.
Yeah.
So if they improve, so like Vince and Chris are saying, hey, Mayfield's going to be better than Sam Darnold. And that, I guess, is true. But like, did we forget that for a very short period of time last season, Sam Darnold was literally the best quarterback in the NFL? And I mean, like, any measurable metric.
For 3 games, he was, yes.
He was really good. And then Christian McCaffrey got hurt, and he was really bad. Okay, so I'm not ready to say that like with just the difference in Sam Darnold. By the way, the only one quarterback's thrown more interceptions than Sam Darnold in the last 4 years, and that's Baker Mayfield. So you know, I'm not ready to say, man, Baker Mayfield's going to come in. He's going to be killing it.
All right, let me take this one, bro. We can debate until the cows come home about what type of quarterback Baker Mayfield is. We can debate, you know, whether the Browns organization really did him any favors. You know, we can debate whether some of his numbers, whether for better or for worse, were inflated or not. We can debate all that till the cows come home. There are 2 things you cannot debate about Baker Mayfield. The first of which is how confident of a person and as a quarterback he is. And that doesn't always translate to performance on the field. Let me be very, very clear about that. But Baker Mayfield is a very confident young man. And it shows itself because you're looking at this mediocre quarterback at best, and he's saying, why does this dude have all these commercials? And why does he have all these endorsements? And why is Baker Mayfield always in the news for some reason? You know why? Because he's a very polarizing, powerful, big personality. And what does that mean? Guys like whoever reported this, people are fans of Baker Mayfield for better or for worse. And they really root for this. I think people really want this guy to be big so his performance can match his ego. And I'm not even necessarily saying it as like as a bad thing. You know what I mean? I just think Baker Mayfield is the type of guy you can't question whether he wants to win or not. You can't question whether he wants to be in a situation where he is the guy and the team is winning. You can't question that at all. It's just that at some point, when is his big personality, his big ego, and his marketability going to catch up with his performance? And I think guys want to push that sometimes. So we got to wait and see whether it happens this season or not. I'm not ready to crown this guy yet, but we'll see.
No, I agree with you there. And I do think that if he had gone to any team but Cleveland, the narrative on Baker Mayfield would be kind of different. From a pure football standpoint, it is very important to note that regardless of the on-paper improvements the Carolina Panthers have made on the offensive line, the O-line he's going to be behind will be far worse than what he had in Cleveland. Far worse. Not even on the same O-line. Yes, not even on the same stratosphere. So the question is going to be, when that O-line breaks down, what does Baker Mayfield have? We're really going to see. Like, we're really going to see what he's at, because we saw what Sam Darnold was able to not do when the O-line broke down. When the O-line broke down, that was it. And Christian McCaffrey, so the O-line broke down and Christian McCaffrey's gone. You're dead. You're dead.
You see ghosts. Yes.
You see ghosts. So Baker Mayfield has never had to be behind such a terrible O-line where Sam Darnold had that in New York and Carolina. So what's going to happen when that happens? Is he gonna have a culture shock? Like, holy shit, this O-line is terrible. That's one thing. The other thing about Baker Mayfield is that when like elite caliber quarterbacks come in the NFL, they typically have like an ascension. It might not be rapid, and then they plateau, and then they fall. Like we're going to use Cam Newton as an example. Cam Newton improved in almost every major statistical category every single season. Every single season. Then he signed that huge contract. Then he had an MVP season. And he declined after that after injuries. We have not really seen that from Baker Mayfield. Yes, he did make the playoffs once, and he's had pretty decent numbers throughout his career. But like by Cam Newton's fourth season, like he was considered a top 10 quarterback.
He was voted the number one player in the league by his peers at some point.
Right? Yeah. Like is Baker Mayfield going to have that kind of ascension in his fifth season that Cam Newton had in his fifth season? Cam Newton was MVP in his fifth season.
I have a better question. I have a better question. What has Baker Mayfield shown us to let us be so confident that he's just going to lead us into the play? That we're so confident that
it's unfair for me to throw Cam Newton in there because Cam Newton was something completely different. But I mean, who else you gonna compare? You got to compare him to other elite quarterbacks because we're not gonna compare him to Patrick Mahomes or any of those guys, right?
That's my point. He's not elite. He ain't nowhere close to elite. I guess that's my point, man. Why do we keep boosting Baker Mayfield up to something that he hasn't proven to be yet? Somebody has to make me understand that first. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the Browns.
Don't talk about it. Let them do it first.
Exactly. I need to. I mean, I do think Baker Mayfield overall will be better than Sam Darnold, but I don't think that the gap is that big. I think the Panthers will still need a franchise quarterback, regardless of how this season goes. Now, Baker did play hurt most of the year, but I mean, so does Sam Darnold.
And Kaz, I feel like I ask you this question every week, but I'm going to ask you this one more time, man. Because every time you turn around and you look at Ben McAdoo in a press conference or interview, he's always seems like he's leaning towards Sam Darnold. It always seems like Sam Darnold is his guy. I'll ask you this again, man. At this point, do you buy that? Do you buy Sam Darnold still being McAdoo's guy?
No. I don't know. Nobody is nobody's guy right now in Carolina.
Not right now. It's open competition, right?
Yeah. By the way, Baker Mayfield's career completion percentage is 1.6 percentage points higher than Cam Newton's. Does that mean anything?
No, it means nothing.
I'm wondering because people Cam Newton was so inaccurate during his career. Like Baker Mayfield is not like super accurate. Like what is it that we see in him? I do like the gunslinger mentality, and I do think that may make a difference. So we'll see. Sharp says, got to check out this juggernaut O-line. Said Cleveland got. I don't think Cleveland had a juggernaut O-line, but they ran the ball very well. And I mean,
I don't think it's a coincidence that Nick Chubb is like considered one of the best running backs in the league.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Enough about that. We'll use our last 10 minutes to talk about the other professional sports team in Charlotte FC. Now let's rewind.
The highs and the lows of Charlotte FC. Yeah.
We're not big soccer guys. Let me preface this, okay? I watched the World Cup. I'll watch Newcastle if the game is on ESPN, and that's only because I like the beer. That's it. Yeah. So that's the only reason, okay? So I'm familiar with some of the UK leagues and Premier Leagues. So all right, so let me preface that. But Chelsea came to the United States. They're kind of going on tour. Chelsea is a Premier League champion, and they're playing friendlies, which are essentially exhibition matches. But don't let that fool you. Like, teams, they give 100% during friendlies, okay? Absolutely. And this past weekend, Chelsea came into Charlotte and lost to Charlotte FC on penalty kicks because the game was tied 1-1 at the end of regulation, and it did not end in time because it was a friendly. They decided to go to penalty kicks, and Charlotte won. There were 52,000 fans in attendance, and that was a huge moment for Charlotte FC. That'd be like the Tar Heels beating the Golden State Warriors. I mean, that's two different levels. You got an expansion MLS team, and worldwide, globally, people feel like the MLS is far below other international football.
Yeah, English Premier League is the NBA of soccer.
Right, yeah. So you have an expansion team beat the champions. And like I said, even though it was a friendly, both teams played their normal rotations and rosters. Okay. So to get a win like that was kind of big. Was kind of big, I feel like, and probably did a lot to elevate the profile of Charlotte FC. Not globally. Although Chelsea fans are, they're pissed about it. They're like, how could we have lost to a team like Charlotte? Where the hell is Charlotte? But as far as MLS fans go, I think that kind of people are like, wow, Charlotte FC. I mean, they're only one spot out of the playoffs. The playoffs would start today. They'd be a playoff team. And then they turn around and lose to the worst team in the league 4-1. So my question to you is this. Is Charlotte FC on the track to overtake the Hornets or the Panthers as kind of like Charlotte's team?
My answer may surprise you. I'm gonna say no, and let me tell you why. Football is king. The Panthers can go 0-16, and nobody could go to their games. But at the same time, nobody's going to let go of their Panthers fandom. Like, Panthers are just the most entrenched team in this city, for better or for worse. People will give that football team all types of passes, whatever. Panthers ain't going nowhere. Hornets, I feel like the Hornets and Charlotte FC have two different crowds. You know what I mean? Soccer fans are usually not even into the NBA at all, and vice versa. I think we saw a small example of that when Charlotte FC had a home game at the same time as the Panthers game, and none of those crowds were affected. The Hornets had a sold-out game that night. Charlotte FC had a sold-out game that same night. So I think the two crowds are not going to interject in any way. So no. However, as far as what's the word I'm looking for, man? God, what is the word I'm looking for? As far as I guess the overall feeling of each team, Charlotte FC is definitely on the trajectory of becoming the fan favorite in the sense of goodwill. That's the word I'm looking for. As far as goodwill from the fans, Charlotte FC is probably on the trajectory of having the most goodwill from Charlotte sports fans. You look at them being an expansion team, and like you said, the one game away from the playoffs. Regardless of what you know or may not know about soccer, you probably don't care how they're getting to that point. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte Hornets fans, what do? We blame one guy. We blame Michael Jordan for when the sun doesn't come up. You know what I mean? Panthers fans, they can, for better or for worse, they can do whatever they want to. But we see a very young team making positive strides in their first season, no matter how they got to that point. That's all that matters in this city. Are we looking at a team that looks like they're going to give us something to be proud of? And right now, Charlotte FC is probably on the best trajectory to do that right now.
The most important thing in a relationship is
trust.
No, expectations. If your partner exceeds your expectations, man, you're gonna love them. If they don't meet your expectations, then you're gonna have problems. If your expectations are low, then you may not feel a certain way about your partner. And I think that's how it is in Charlotte. The expectations for the Hornets and Panthers are low. We are jaded. We're jaded. We haven't had any sustained success from either of those teams in 30 years. Although, in a vacuum, if you look at the Carolina Panthers, you'll be like, wow, for an expansion team from 1996, they're fairly successful. They almost have a 500 record.
we're clearly better than the expansive team we came in with.
Exactly. They almost have a 500 record all time, which most teams in the NFL will never be able to achieve because they've been in the league so long. They've been to 2 Super Bowls. They won 7 division championships. So I mean, they have a bunch of Hall of Fame players or players that are going to make the Hall of Fame. You look at the Panthers, like, not so bad. But as far as sustained success, no. And right now, for the last 5 seasons, it's been nothing but heartache if you're a Panthers fan. Meanwhile, the Hornets, they tease you. There's nothing worse than a partner that teases you, right?
Right.
Like you're like, no, I'm gonna take it back. No, I'm gonna take it back. And the Hornets have teased us over the last
same old woman.
Exactly. Yep. So stop teasing us. Like, and that's what the Hornets are doing. And I think people are excited. They are excited about the Hornets, but that's mainly the LaMelo Ball effect. To be honest with you. Whereas Charlotte FC, like, the expectations are low, but that's only because they're an expansion team, and they're the new shiny toy. You get a new girl, you don't expect nothing from you. You just gotta look pretty, girl, and that's what Charlotte FC is doing. They looking pretty, right? Looking better than pretty, and I think
what could look prettier than beating an English Premier team by the name of Chelsea?
Exactly. Like, I think that fans are like, and plus, Charlotte as well as I do. People will, if somebody else says something's cool in Charlotte.
Oh my God, that's all you need.
Yep. Now that's cool. Yep. So Charlotte.
By the way, if any cool people are here, can y'all just tell people how cool under construction is, and maybe we can get that same one? Like, okay.
But yeah, I mean, Charlotte FC is about to be the cool thing in Charlotte, right? So now everybody,
look, cousin, I mean to cut you off, man. But Charlotte FC is, and I will say this, I do like this about Charlotte FC. There's a culture developing with the fandom of Charlotte FC.
Oh yeah,
you go downtown, man. The French Quarter is packed.
Yeah.
Everybody got their gear on, man. It's like an event. It's becoming kind of like a Panthers tailgate situation.
Did you guys see the video right outside of Bank of America Stadium after they beat Chelsea? I mean, it was like it was incredible. I've never seen anything like that at a Panthers or Hornets game. Honestly, after a big, although Charlotte, the Hornets don't have that very many big wins to celebrate, but yeah, you're right. No, it's a culture thing, and I think people in the city will want to be part of that culture. It reminds me of 1988 when Hornets came. It was a culture thing. Nobody cared that they were terrible. But going to a Charlotte Hornets game from like 1988 to like 1996 was an event.
It was a cool thing to do.
Like, dudes showed up in tuxedos.
Yeah.
To the games. You see limos pulling up to the Tyvola Coliseum, like pulling up to the front door, and people getting out like it was a culture thing. So.
Like it was the adult prom or something. Yeah.
It was crazy. I think you see that with Charlotte FC. But I think all it's gonna take is one good season from the Panthers and the Hornets, and suddenly people are back on those bandwagons.
I totally agree with that, man. Look, man, you mess around and let the Hornets even just win the playoff series, and watch how quick this fandom will turn around with that team, man.
Oh yeah, man. I've been
I've been a Hornets fan since Eddie Jones, man. Shut up.
I know. I've already seen people, man. Yeah, man. I watch soccer all the time, man. I don't watch that damn soccer. Shut up.
Yeah. Just like these. Let me stop, man. I'm
also these people. Not only did they not watch soccer, but they didn't go to Soul Gastro Lounge. They say they did, but they didn't. I ain't seen them there. And sadly, I'll let Jamal report this news because I know Soul was one of his spots. So
Charlotte is the poster child for "we can't have shit." If "we can't have shit" was a slogan, Charlotte would be right under that tagline. One of my favorite places in Charlotte, North Carolina, Soul Gastro Lounge, is closing its doors permanently on August the 14th. Why, you say? Because greed. That's why they're closing ultimately. But to be specific, the rumor has it that the building that they are currently occupying space in has tripled its rent. I don't want to get into the numbers, but the rent is too damn high, basically. Word also has it that the building is probably for sale for $4 million, and they probably have different plans of development, which is probably going to be another damn brewery or another damn condo or something that will allude to the fact that Plaza Midwood is going to become South End 2.0. However, let me get into the meat of why I wanted to talk about this today. And I also thought about writing an article, and the tagline will be a soulless Charlotte. If you can get the pun, you get why I would call it that. But let me tell you why this place is so important to people like myself. I was there when Soul was open on the third day it opened. The third day Soul opened, I was there. I was enjoying whatever I was drinking or whatever I was doing. But here's why Soul is so important, man. This is a place that it did the impossible. It kind of meshed a very classy atmosphere while also being very inclusive as well. And you can also come as you are. It's a very classy environment, but you didn't feel like you have to put on a damn suit just to go in there. And this environment led to so like a melting pot of so many different types of personalities. A lot of Charlotte creatives used to hang out here. A lot of people like myself used to just go every weekend because, my favorite bartenders, they knew my name. They knew what I wanted before I said it. I should just tell Bob Peters is like a really popular bartender around the Charlotte area. He used to work there. I used to go in to Bob and just say, hey, I know what you want, man. It's already made for you. That's the type of environment Soul Gastro Lounge. It made everybody its Cheers. If for younger people, Google the sitcom Cheers, you know what I'm talking about. But anywho, man, it was more than just a restaurant, man. It was a community staple. Anybody who loved house music, you had a haven where you could go hear house music and eat some good food and kind of just hang out with some dope people, man. People of your own ilk. And I'm really it pisses me off so much that capitalism and greed is sucking the very soul out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Soul is just one of many. You know what I mean? Soul ain't the only restaurant that's closed down in Charlotte that I loved and adored. It's just a symbol of what is happening to this city overall. If I had to guess, man, the powers that be, they want all of Charlotte to look like South End. You know what I mean? There's nothing for any other personality types, and that's really disappointing. And this is a whole nother show, so I'm not going to say too much about this, but I'm looking at our mayor and I'm looking at our city council, and I'm saying to myself, like, all right, man, like, what are we doing about this? Like, what is Charlotte's identity going to be in 5 years if this kind of stuff keeps happening? Now I'll leave it at that, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot that could be said about not just Soul, but the gentrification in Charlotte. That's a very nuanced conversation. So I'll just say that I'm just sad to see Soul go. I'm sad to see every spot go. Driving through Plaza Midwood and seeing like all the spots that we used to go to, just
man,
not be there. Essentially, it's like Snug Harbor and Thomas Street left. That's it. Like everything else is something to do. Yeah. Every week, and that's just kind of it's just sad to see a city that is low on culture anyway lose a little bit of culture that it has. So I think August 14th is the last day for Soul officially. So if you are Charlottean, go support. Give them some of your money. Go just have a nice dinner there. Check out the Napoleon rolls. Listen to some good real house music, not Drake.
Not Drake or Beyonce. It's real house music, So yeah. I suggest the pork belly tacos myself, man. But a lot of good food there.
So yeah. So any shout outs on to piggyback on that?
Yeah, man. I do want to shout. I have a couple of shout outs today, man. Shout out Andy, who is the owner of Soul Gastro Lounge. I actually got a chance to talk to him Friday. I did go Friday. ultimately he was saying that that's not it for him. They are going to look for a new location. I don't want to be too negative about it because when you have something that's perfect, in a sense, you don't want to mess that up. So I don't want to be too negative about wherever they're going to end up. So I do wish Andy the best, and hopefully that comes sooner than later. I do also want to shout out Brian Romero, who is the 16-year-old kid who got the winning penalty kick against Chelsea. We needed to mention that, man.
Yeah.
So 16-year-old Brian Romero gets a shout out today, man.
Talk about living your dreams. Gosh, I mean.
Hey, look, man, when he came on the field, I had to like do a double take like that. He looks like a baby, and come to find out he's 16 years old, man. So shout out to Brian Romero, man. Do I have any other shout outs? Nah, I think that'll do it for me today, man.
Yeah, I don't really have any shout outs or shout outs this week. I don't. Real quick shout, I actually ate at a really good restaurant. So Rock Hill is like my second home, honestly. And me and the wife were we actually wanted to go to Captain Steve's in Fort Mill because I love fried seafood, even though my doctor says it will kill me. I don't care. Okay? Give a shit.
Captain Steve's is awesome.
Yeah, I'm not eating catfish. But they were closed. They're on vacation. Go figure. So we drove into Rock Hill, and there's a restaurant called the Pump House. It used to be in where the old Herc Celanese plant was. For those of you from the area, remember that plant. And they actually built a restaurant on the banks of the Catawba River, and it's actually got pieces of the Herc Celanese plant in the restaurant, which I thought was really cool. I didn't realize that. But I'd never eaten there before because I know that place had a reputation of being kind of like bougie, but we were hungry, so we went there, and actually it was really good. It was really good. So if you want to spend a lot of money, it was expensive, but it was good. It was worth it. If you want to spend a lot of money and feel like your upper class York County person, then go to the house.
Did they fix their parking lot yet? Because I feel like you got to drive through the terrain to get to the restaurant.
Actually, no, they did fix it. There's actually a road that goes down to the parking lot now, but the parking lot's kind of small, honestly, because most people park there so they can go down to the Catawba River and
because you used to risk getting nails in your tire going to the damn pump house, but
so good restaurant. Hey, Deborah, we didn't even talk, man. You know what?
We ran out of time, man. We're gonna get to that. Trust me.
Yeah, just we gotta do something about the Eastland Mall location. I'm sorry.
Hey, Kaza, it's okay. Let's save that for next time because it's too much to talk about. We just didn't get to it because we just ran out of time today, Prolog, but we are going to talk about that. I'll quickly say something about this. Let me go back to City Council. I'm looking at y'all. I'm looking at Tepper. I'm wondering why nobody knows exactly why the hell he pulled out the deal. I'm gonna leave it at that, man.
You got sources, man. You gotta use them.
Listen, I'll get back to you. Most certainly.
Hey, thanks for joining us again this week. Whether you love us, hate us, want to argue with us, or agree with us, whatever, we just love y'all being here. I enjoy doing this every week, and we will be back next week. Hopefully, honestly, I hope it's another boring week. I don't want to talk about another Charlotte Hornet going to court or anything like that. So hopefully, real quick, it did come out that the Hornets did not rescind the qualifying offer. So more to be. Yeah. So yeah, and Miles pleaded not guilty. We just didn't want to get into it this show because we've already talked about it.
Everyone's talked about it ad nauseum.
But they're not rescinding the qualifying offer is very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, man. You guys have a great week. We love you. Talk to y'all later. Peace,
y'all.